Hello and welcome to Swapping Joysticks. I'm Ben, or Biggest Bennis, and I'm joined as always by Ed Nightingale.
Hello.
Eurogamer.
That's me, Ed Nightingale, and we're back in the studio, Ben.
We are indeed. And it's another
nice.
Final Fantasy special, as we are joined by Final Fantasy XIV voice actor royalty. Woo! We are joined by Colin Ryan, aka Alphinaud, and Peter Bramhill, who are you?
I'm Dadcred.
Oh, Dadcred.
Yeah. In fact, someone sent a message earlier, which I loved, which was Alphie Bro and Dadcred.
Dadcred.
Yeah.
That has to be the name now, yeah.
How are you both doing?
Good, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
very well.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Lovely
joining
to be
us.
here.
Thank you for joining
It's
us.
a treat to be here.
Yeah.
Studio.
Colin brought cookies as well.
I did.
Homemade. Really?
Vegan cookies.
Vegan cookies.
Do you want to give us your recipe? Or is it
what
secret?
I could do. I mean, how long you got? Yeah.
We did have the Final Fantasy XIV cookbook somewhere. Did we bring it to?
I did not bring that.
So you could write for that next time.
I'd love to.
that would be a
I'm
good chapter.
intrigued by that. I mean, because I've seen it. It's like a thick book, isn't it? And I mean, has anyone ever cooked from it? Do people
I have seen
use
someone. Well, there's one. I think it was like chocobo roast chocobo, and it it was chicken
You can't
legs
roast
or something.
Well,
it? Roast chocobo.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's evil, surely.
But I felt like I should redeem myself after that awful cake video that we did. So the cookies are.
Of
Were you the
course.
same one? What do you mean awful? It was a masterpiece.
Well,
wasn't it?
yours was lovely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
but-
Yeah, I've been
but I
offered to do a lot of weddings since. then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Divorce cakes. Yeah.
So we managed to catch up with you at FanFest in London, which was
Yes.
a lot of fun. How was that for you? How was the event?
Oh, I love that.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
It was intense. I mean, it's such a. The scale of it is absolutely massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fact that it's all devoted to Final Fantasy XIV is kind of mind blowing. And the fact that we're a part of that game, and there's that much kind of focus and attention on it, and all those people. How many people were there? It was like.
What is it, like 10,000 odd?
Well, there were like thousands and thousands, but there's also so many people that didn't get tickets that were gutted. So I mean, they could have filled that 5 times, 10 times.
It
over.
felt like there was rolling people just in the outside of the Excel Centre as well that weren't actually going in. They were just rocking out in their costumes.
That's it. The people who just turned up just to be kind of near the atmosphere,
Yeah,
and
just
it
in
was
the
an
orbit of
amazing
it.
atmosphere.
Yeah. Was it your first FanFest for both
Yeah,
of you?
it was mine,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
that-
great to be able to wander about though, wasn't it? Because you were sort of on the clock and off the clock at the same time. Like you could just really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then every so often, felt like one of us or two of us you'd get recognised, and then it'd cause a little sort of frenzy, and then it was sort of die away, and then you could go off and do your furry bowling again. Furry bowling.
Excuse me.
Did you not do any furry bowling?
I didn't do any furry bowling.
What?
Missed out.
Oh, you did. There's a picture of you fully bent over the furry ball.
Well, so to speak.
Hang on.
What is
It's on his
Well,
Patreon.
welcome everyone.
We've gone downhill quickly. So, yeah, what's it like being part of a game that is so big that it has its own con with thousands of people attending?
Yeah, that was an eye opener for me. That particularly. I mean, because there's loads of incredible cons around, and there's the CooperCon Final Fantasy one, and then the FanFest one was sort of a bit mind blowing because it was at the Excel Centre. I think that has a certain cachet in your brain anyway, because it's somewhere you're aware of. And I've been to other events there. Yeah. And you just think, oh, is it in just a little bit? And then you get there and it's like, oh wow, it's enormous.
Yeah, it was cavernous, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also the journey there, it's a bit like going to, like an Olympic event or something. As you get slightly closer station-wise, or however you're getting there, you realise that everyone just starts looking like they're in Final
Start
Fantasy.
seeing the ears.
I love
Start
that.
seeing the ears pop in.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and all the
Sails.
hotels round and around, you sort of all the lobbies are sort of half full of Final Fantasy members. Yeah, I love all that. That's great. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and for me, it was when the show started and they first started playing the trailer. God, the atmosphere in the room was. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. It was electric, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I had a similar thing. I was very lucky to go to the Vegas one, and I think Americans shout a lot louder than Brits.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when it's we applaud politely.
Yeah.
So when they first showed the bits of the trailer and were,
did that go really
revealing
crazy?
stuff, it was wild. People were just raving
Because it
in their
seemed
seats.
huge to me there. I was really surprised by it. I was like, oh, they're putting the trailer on. I know they'd gathered everyone together, but I wasn't expecting. It felt like the Fonz. I mean, that's an old reference, but every time one of us appeared, it was like everyone got a cheer. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Look it up.
Like 3 people get that.
Yeah. They're my people.
You're right there are a lot more fan events nowadays, like CooperCon and other sort of different fan events. Do you enjoy being able to meet the community and sort of be more well known and have your face out there, and people know you're not just a voice on a video game now?
I mean, it's totally changed my existence in the VA world and gaming world. Starting to go to these events, and also meeting each other, meeting the other VAs. Like we just sort of were ships that passed in the night, really, for years.
Yeah.
For actual years. Like I think I bumped into, maybe I bumped into Robin once as one of you's coming out of booth and going in or something like that. And so those events have brought us together. And now we have our own little community within the wider community. And the Final Fantasy community. I was just saying it today to been in a rehearsal room for a play, and I was telling the cast about how I've recently gone on Twitter, a few months ago, and they were looking back, and I was like, you just get no negativity from the community whatsoever. It's just all positive.
Stay in that community.
Excited, but I know exactly. I know. I sort of feel naive, sort of talking about it, but it's all I know.
Yeah.
All I know is wherever I go to these events or if any interaction online, it's just nothing but positivity or humour or.
It's really wholesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredibly supportive.
Very supportive, and like there is a kind of overarching kindness to the community. I feel. Of course, you're going to get pockets where there's always.
Sorry
an
about
exception,
that, man. I shouldn't have said this.
but I mean, everyone that I've come across, especially at the cons and meeting people in person, it's awesome getting messages on social media, but then meeting people in person and hearing firsthand about how much the game has affected them.
Yeah, incredible.
And the kind of life events that it has helped them through, and then also because it's been going on for so long, 10 years. We meet people who have. Kind of met husbands and wives and had kids, whole families being born from this game, which is insane.
Did you see that wedding, that Final Fantasy themed wedding?
That you wrote a message for, right?
Amazing, incredible. Oh yeah, we did some cameos. To do cameo, right? And you're getting these incredible requests sometimes, and some simple, some complicated. Some I literally have to do a deep dive on the internet to go, what's happening? But we did a wedding one where I had to do a best man speech as Thancred, but just make it up. But then they used it in their wedding.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and they made us a little booklet of the wedding.
I was going to say, what's the wildest cameo, but maybe it's that.
Yeah, I mean it's very wholesome. That I mean I think it was all fine, that speech. I don't reread it.
Yeah. They're still together. Let us know in the comments of this video.
I've done some pretty out there. I was laughing the other day thinking back of I wonder how many proposals I've done on Cameo.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I sort of quite early, I thought, this is all right. I can do this, I think. It's all right, because you're proposing to an avatar, I guess. But then you're like, there's just hundreds of videos of me popping the question.
So how many people are you married to then?
And also it's documented, it's official, I think. Yeah. It's probably holds up in court of law.
That's crazy. There's some questions to answer.
There is some questions
there.
Going on. there's some bad dad cred questions to answer there. Yeah, dad cred. Everyone's 5,000 wives.
So when you were at FanFest, you obviously met lots of people that were there, and we were chatting with you and people were coming up to you. Are there any cosplays that you saw? Because I know you saw people that were cosplaying as Alphinaud and Thancred, and you wanted photos with those. Are there any ones that really stood out for you?
I saw a very good Estinian. They can be quite disarming. They are.
Yeah,
that's proper. What was that? He was on top of a chock. Do you see that?
Yes,
on top of
that was riding.
Yes,
that was impressive, wasn't it?
Incredible.
Because it looked like out of a movie.
Yeah.
It was sort of, because it didn't look like comedy legs sticking out the bottom of the thing. You were like, oh, all right, that's just a dude riding a full-size, life-size chocobo.
Yeah.
And there was an amazing Alphinaud who, in the what's it called? The Endwalker outfit. What is it? Blue Sage Mage?
Blue Mage.
Now. Blue Mage?
Oh, Sage or Blue Mage?
Sage Mage?
Sage
Mage.
Yeah.
Sage is
it's one of your cookie ingredients.
Yeah. Blue Mage came out before that.
Yeah, but so they had the kind of like arrow daggers. Which lit up as well, and all the electrics going on. That was incredible. Yeah.
I did really like Holiday Thancred though. Did you see
yes,
those
I
ones?
did, yeah.
With the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So is that from like a meme or something? Is that from a... What's that
I'm
from?
Too old for memes.
Yeah, too old for memes.
I'm 36.
Yeah.
35.
I'm sure it is part of the game somewhere.
It's
but
and
the memes that people come up with are
I love
also
all
wild.
that. Yeah, I love... Yeah, that's another thing about the community. It's very creative.
Yeah.
I mean, as well as the memes and all the comedy stuff and all that, some of the artwork I get, and or people bring you. That's the other thing about meeting people in person when they've made incredible things, or they want you to. You know, I'm a big believer in if I see something cool artwork, I love like being able to.
Yeah.
You know. Tweet it on. Do we say that anymore? I don't know what to say anymore.
I don't know. I don't think there's
Exit
a
on.
word for it.
Exit. That can't be right.
Not right, is it? Yeah. But there's so many.
I love all that.
Yeah, like the talent within the community is incredible.
Yeah.
Like some of the artwork, because we have a few commissions as well for artwork that we take to cons. And they go down a storm as well, don't they? People love that. Yeah. So there's a lot of talent out there. Yeah.
And that's a real double-edged thing. Sorry, but it's a real double-edged thing that where it's so nice, isn't it, to be able to commission someone, like give a bit back for someone to do something for you that then you take on, and then people see it for the first time and they're, oh, what's that? Who's that? And it's sort of, that's how it should work ideally in life.
Yeah,
you know, that's how art gets out there.
Yeah. And I think it's like, the thing about that game is that you can spend your entire life in that game. It's so big. There's so many things you can do in there, and it's just such a social game. So yeah, people do end up just forming these relationships and getting together, and you're completely right about it being just like so creative, because when you're there, when like you're spending so much of your time in that game, you can use your creativity in there, and it allows you to do so.
It's pretty incredible, because like you were saying, the amount of people you meet when you do the events as well that met within the game, and they've been together for like 6 years, 7 years, or the friendship groups, you know, what's it called, the FCs, and all that stuff. It's incredible. FCs? So they're like, you know,
we're gonna get that. We'll get to Colin's Twitch journey soon.
Should I know this?
No, they're sort of
a guild.
They're like a guild, but it's, you know, in shorthand.
Free company.
Free company. They're in shorthand. They're just like little bands of people who get together, and then you get little groups of people that then become a bond in themselves. And
see, I first started playing when Heaven's Ward came out, so just as you two joined, and I was into it, I loved it, and then I joined a free company, and then I kind of went to bed at 6 a.m. most nights over a summer, because I was a teacher, so it was like I wasn't working at that point, but it was like generally, because I think a lot of them were from the US on the FC, so yeah, I would just stay up chatting with them. There was one bit I did a dungeon with some people, and they'd kind of rushed through it, and my FC were like, oh no, you need to experience the story, we'll come through, and they like sat through every cutscene for, it was the Praetorium. I'm sure people remember back in the day you couldn't, like you could quite easily skip ahead, and then anybody that was new kind of missed all the cutscenes, and they 8 of them or whatever, 7 others kind of just joined and like went through it really slowly, made sure that they waited for me to watch the cutscenes, all these 7 people just out of the kindness of their heart.
So they're just sort of hanging there.
Yeah, just so I could experience it properly.
It's like mini Twitch though, anyway, isn't it? It's like they're watching you enjoying the cutscenes.
And I was like, that's when that game, I was like, okay, this community is the best.
It's pretty, mate, I must admit, because you must have done that as well, when you sort of watch bits of cutscenes, all those, and then you realise when you start delving in, there's just hours and hours and hours and hours, and that's just for, say, one expansion, you know, you can, and then it sort of gives you, like my horizons have been totally broadened by going in a bit deeper, and as you find out, or when you get requests that make you have to look deeper than all the cutscenes, because you used to sort of have to watch cutscenes looking for Thancred bits, or sometimes I'd find them if you knew you had a recording coming up, and if it's been a while, to sort of get back in the mindset of Thancredized.
There he is.
There he is.
It sounds quite low today, actually. Saturday, Thancred. Yeah. Been out Friday, Thancred.
Singing.
Yeah.
Karaoke, Thancred.
Yeah. Well, karaoke Thancred needs to be a thing now.
Speaking of, what did you think of the primals?
Oh, that was great, wasn't it?
Incredible.
Yeah, that was our little bond, wasn't it?
It was the four of us.
Oh, yeah, it was the four of us. That's where we first met.
Yeah.
Where actually, I totally thought that you were called Ben and Lee. Do you remember? And
Yes.
I said because you came up to me and said, "Oh, what's the name of those two lovely lads over there?" I said, "Ben and Lee."
I was like, great, put it in my phone. Yeah, great.
And then later on, you come up to me and says, "Yeah, you called me Lee for some reason."
We spent most of Friday evening together as well. Do you remember?
I don't know where that came from. I'm very sorry.
Luckily, you did correct it though. Otherwise, it could have been just today. Sometimes you just leave it too long.
That could have been really
like,
just for the record when he introduces himself. The moment he introduces himself as Ed,
his own name.
Colour drains from the face.
So let's talk a little bit then about production and the sort of recording process. Can you take us back to when you were first cast in these roles? How did you feel? What was the moment where you sort of thought, right, I've got the part? What was that process like?
I mean, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't like a big kind of momentous thing because, to begin with, they don't tell you what the game is that you're auditioning for. No. So it's all kind of like coded. And so the code name for ours was 14, which is like very secretive.
I cannot believe. How did we not crack that code?
I know.
But like now people just call it 14.
Yeah.
14, yeah, 14.
Yeah.
And
it's had different code names over the years, hasn't it? I don't think we're probably not allowed to say them, are we? Yeah. But it's had different ones.
Yeah, warning.
But yeah, so and all I got through for the audition was like a picture of Alphinaud and then a little biography and then the lines, and you go. Actually, I know auditioned for a character called Pippin as well.
I
don't know who Pippin is.
What happened to Pippin?
Yeah.
Pippin's no Alphinaud.
Answers on a stamped address envelope.
Yeah. The name definitely rings a bell. And I'm like, is it that Pippin from 14 or is it Pippin from another place?
It was probably so long ago I played.
It was a long time ago, though, wasn't it? I found my old the biog off the old email.
Yeah.
Found it. Yeah. And it has that bit of artwork though. It's original artwork, isn't it? It's like which I didn't think twice about, but someone was like, "Oh no, that's original artwork." And yes, you get a very, God, in the scheme of us doing it now for this long, it was quite a brief biography, and then I remember there's a few lines. So there was, I think I had maybe between 5 and 10 lines, all done in a way that is to try and show every single emotion you might need. Like a classic sort of pitch of a character. And it mentioned the Princess Bride. It mentioned
Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes. It was that. Brilliant. That was one of the references. Carrie Elwes via someone else, I can't remember. So it was all that layer to the pain, all that. He was quite sort of up there. He was quite high when he first started. Thancred. It was all that witty bard, silver tongue. You stupid buffoon. It was all there. And then he's slowly gone. A little bit more glass half empty.
Let's ask because we've got a community question that fits in perfectly here, rather than waiting for this. Sure. This is from DJ Phoenix, who said you each took over roles from other actors, Sam Riegel and I'm going to pronounce that wrong, so you tell me.
I think it's Taliesin Jaff.
Okay. Yeah. So did you take any performance cues from them, or were you aware of their work?
Wow. I know of them, but I had no idea when. Like same as you, it wasn't a big thing. The audition process. I was doing another game at Side UK, now Global Side, and so they'd sort of got me in just to do this audition, if you like. But like you, it wasn't a big deal. Like properly, purposefully, weren't making a big deal of it. And then when I got it, it wasn't till I don't think it was until I'd already completed Heaven's Ward and all that I looked back and went, oh. Oh yeah,
It's big.
And also he was like, oh, there's the first bit, and then I listened to it. Yeah. But I wonder what it would have happened if I had listened to it. I don't know, because they are quite different. Yeah. I think it's really cool actually. I really liked that performance as well. I mean, but it's quite weird. It must be weird from the point of view of the player.
I didn't notice anything when I actually played when Heaven's Ward came out, so I kind of played the two back to back. I played Realm Reborn, and then went into Heaven's Ward straight away. And I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not the most perceptive person. I just was like, it's the same voice. I was like, it just gets better. Maybe I thought the game was better because the story was fantastic.
But Alphie's is like
very different. Very different.
Yeah, because I didn't. I think I was the same as you. It took a while before I found out there was another voice actor that came before me. And then once I saw a clip on YouTube, I was like, oh, should I have listened to that before? Because I had no idea what the previous Alphinaud was like, and he's much deeper. Has a much deeper voice and resonance.
But I think the character feels different as well. Like it feels a bit colder and a bit more standoffish. Because I've recently gone back and played A Realm Reborn, and it's like the Alphinaud there just feels like a little bit colder, a bit more kind of standoffish from the other characters as he's warming up to them.
Right.
And then as it goes into Heaven's Ward and then further on becomes a lot more warm.
Yeah.
Likeable.
Oh, okay. I don't know, it's a strange one, isn't it? I don't know how much it would have helped.
I
mean, sometimes it can help, sometimes it can colour what you're going to do.
Because I think I probably would have gone in doing a deeper voice if I had known that, and probably wouldn't have.
If you're thinking to match something, you don't want to ape that person's performance, but you'd probably have an ear to like, oh well, if this game's meant to follow on, it should be in that realm.
What would a deep
Alphinaud
have sounded like? What would a deep Alphinaud?
Yeah, where's deep Alphinaud?
Oh no, you're not going to get me to.
Where's voice broken Alphinaud? Because this would be the Alphinaud Thancred would take out for a drink, like pretending he's got his fake ID Alphinaud. Where's fake ID Alphinaud?
No, stop. No, I don't. Because at Otakon with Beth, they got us to do this improvisation, and like Beth and I, we're kind of like the same person because we are like get so shy. We are really introverted, and the moment people try and get us to like perform or do the voice, like we just go into our shells. Yeah,
I better get rid of all that section.
No, exactly. delete. But I think there's a big thing because I've in games I've voiced in the past as well. Like with Thancred, for instance, I'm from the north of England.
Great place.
It's a lovely, cracking place up there. Country. Everyone, have a visit, have a look in. And so I think there's a big deal, isn't there, when you play characters that are closer to your own voice and you're asked to do voices than when you've got a voice to hide behind.
Yeah.
It's the same as performances, if like on screen. Like if you're playing a character quite close to yourself, and someone says, oh, can you just improvise this? You're like, it feels a bit like me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can hide behind a sort of voice or do you do it in accent, I think it's
a bit more of a mask.
Yeah, you've got a mask on.
Yeah.
And it can be a bit less exposing. Yeah.
Did you ever ask to have a Brummie accent for Alphinaud? Were you ever tempted to slide that in?
I would love to. I would love a Brummie Alphinaud. But no, there hasn't. I haven't been asked yet. I don't think there's much demand for it.
Have you done Brummie? Have you done Brummie on a voice ever?
No. Like on stage and on the telly, but not.
Oh, let's do some Brummie. I can't do it. You do it.
That's not half bad.
It's all right.
Growing up, let's
do some Brummie.
Growing up, one of my best friends from Birmingham, and he was always teaching me about the yam yams.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of a misconception because so yam yams. That's a kind of. Colloquial term to call people from the Black Country.
Yes,
it's like Wolverhampton, Dudley, which is very different to Birmingham.
Very different,
different accent.
Totally different accent. But a lot of people think that the Yam Black Country accent is Birmingham, but it's actually.
They do it, man. They homogenise. They do it with Yorkshire as well. I think every time you went up to see me in Yorkshire, where I grew up, everyone doesn't like to talk like Sean Bean.
No.
It's just a totally different accent. It's not as
You're breaking the
we're not as
fantasy
rich
now.
in Yorkshire.
Yeah, Yorkshire's rich. There's various accents in Yorkshire.
Yes.
I love that we were talking at FanFest about how we both respond to things that are too expensive. It was the most northern chat ever. What was it? You said like, come
Can't
again.
remember what you say.
You were like, come again.
What was it? Come again.
Come again.
How much? Say again. That can't be right.
£30 for a coffee.
Yeah. Whoa, hang on. What if I ask in Thancred voice? It's cheaper.
Yeah, just the most northern chat, I think.
That's proper northern chat, yeah. It's a little bond.
Yeah, a bond about how expensive things are down south.
Yeah.
We need to get Square to make a Brumhallsia then. So we can have the
I feel like
Brum
Final
version.
Fantasy loves regional British accents. I mean, 16 came out and it's all sorts of northern accents.
Yes, they've pushed it on that, haven't they, as well? But they're not. Haven't you done? Sometimes in a session, do you ever do another little?
Oh, another character.
Characters at the end, like you'll do some.
Yeah.
I'm always doing like a begrudging market trader.
Like,
At the end,
person,
so you probably hunt them out. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised someone hasn't sort of. Mind you, how would you find them? Like needle in a haystack.
Well, Final Fantasy Union are here.
Yes.
Maybe that's a video. Find all your
Find-
little
all the little bits,
voiceovers.
because some of them just won't be documented. I wouldn't have thought.
Like
But you have to-
uncredited.
yeah, uncredited.
Yeah.
Because I tried to find one actually that I did the last time I went in, and it was some kind of like weird spectre type, like ghost goblin type thing.
They can be really good fun.
Yeah, it's good
When
fun.
you do it at
isn't
the
it?
end of because you
And
sort of
just throw
spend
it
the
in.
last 15 minutes trying to find a voice.
Yeah.
So the last minute going like, what about this? Or like, what about this?
Yoda crossover.
What about this? What about this? Yeah.
Can't have Yoda in Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
You're going to have to get
Exactly,
so many
yeah.
forms signed.
It is though. You do start finding, And if you've done quite a long session or a few hours of, Thancredization, and then you're having to suddenly go into like Sean Bean territory or you're trying to go into all this stuff. I like all that. That's kind of what I imagined
fun.
voice acting was going to be. When you see it portrayed on movies and stuff. Whereas actually the reality is not as similar. But in those moments, it feels like we're the men with the 1,000 voices.
Exactly, because I was saying earlier, like, because the most of the session is pretty kind of mundane, isn't it? Really, because
it's fast.
Well, you were saying you record them individually, so you're not actually in the room with other people.
No. Yeah, it's all solo. It's quite a solitary pursuit, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
And because we've been doing it for 9 years or something now, and like we only met 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when was the first time you met?
Yeah.
all
I
together,
think it was.
or-
I think it was at CooperCon.
It was
wasn't
CooperCon, London CooperCon, wasn't it?
And
That's changed the landscape, though, for me. Meeting the, because now I
Meeting
feel
you
like,
guys.
now I've blurred the lines between the characters and the people, because we've hung out and stuff, and then so it's changed. So I have a total different sort of view of the game. I'm really looking forward to the next session,
Whenever that is.
whenever that may be or not. Who knows? But it's that thing of, you sort of start recognizing people in a different way, and you have to then separate the humanoid from the character.
Who's most similar to their character?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, we can't say that. Can we?
well, that's the thing. I mean, because we record on our own, we only record our own lines as well.
Yeah.
So most of the time, we don't really kind of have much idea of like what other characters have been doing, or even like kind of personality traits of other characters.
Do you get any
Totally.
references at all? to
Well,
sort of
sometimes
bounce
if
off?
you're
Sometimes.
like, we don't have loads, do we? But in the past, is sort of if there's, say, Thancred and the twins and Stoller and all that, and there's sometimes if you've recorded first, if I'm in the booth, they'll play in your line before, so you can hear it and you can hear the tone of it and the energy of it. But then you might be the first person to record.
Yeah.
And then, that you sort of weirdly, and then it's all to do with the director, who you cannot, that's great fun as well, isn't it, in the booth? The rapport you have with the director and the engineers, that can be a right laugh. Because sometimes you are saying totally bonkers stuff and it's out of context. And then you get, like you'll have people from sometimes in Tokyo giving you a synopsis maybe of what that scene's about before you do it, because you're not given that information first, so someone has to like fill you in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really intense, isn't it? That they'll really fill you in.
Yeah, I find that really difficult because, see, these people in Tokyo who are just voices in our heads, they have this encyclopedic knowledge.
That's incredible,
of all Final Fantasy Eorzea. And so they're kind of like giving you all this context. And saying, okay, you've come from Limsa Lominsa and you've come across this, and like reeling off all these like names of places. And it is hard to keep up, I have to admit.
Yeah, because it's early doors, isn't it? That's the other thing is now once you've recorded and been given information, and then when that particular expansion's come out and you've seen it or you've watched cutscenes and you get it, when you move on to the next one, it's all new information again. So there's new. Like there's Vieras are involved in this, so they have to describe it all to you. And you want to try describing what a Viera is to someone's ear while they're in a booth, and you're like, okay, keep going, So they're like, okay.
I was going to say, if someone says it's a sexy rabbit, you might have a slightly different view.
Okay, how do I feel about that? But it's really interesting. It's a crazy way of working.
Yeah, it is, and also I should say that we don't. Well, most of the time we don't see anything either. We don't have any kind of like footage apart from when we do time syncs when we have to kind of like lip sync at times.
Right.
But we don't see any kind of like gameplay or anything like that. It's,
very rare.
It's kind of blind, isn't it? Really,
literally just a big script, isn't it?
Yeah.
And highlight each line that you're going to say. It's just on a big screen in front of you, and you've got your headphones on. You've got a glass wall there with the director giving you, some and then and also time is of the essence in studios. So, mostly you'll get like 2 reads. Or if it's a bigger speech, obviously you can break it down and you spend a bit longer on it if you want that story to be told. But it's time. And also I'm a believer in that because I think with voiceover work as well, your instincts, normally your first read is the best unless you trip over the line or something. Yeah. And sometimes even that, because the more Final Fantasy is very good at that, is finding the human side of the language. Not because if you do it too clean all the time, it's just not how people speak. So it's quite nice to have little affectations in there and coughs and stuff. And because it makes it sound like that's how people talk.
And because quite often we only get the scripts sometimes the day before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't get ages to prepare it. So we are kind of just running on instinct, really, aren't we?
Totally. Yeah. I quite like that though. Although it does mean you have to lean on sight reading a lot. I think that is quite a big part of it. Yeah, I think there's there's friends I have very talented, but there's just sight reading is just not their thing. And so it would be difficult because you don't get much time to look at it first sometimes, and they're really and also I end up with a crib sheet of how to pronounce.
I bet some of the
the names of the places and the characters, even the characters you've known for years. If you're in the middle of speeches, you get to a point you're like it's going really well, and then you see like a Ishtola coming up, Ishtola. It starts going in your head. Which one is it? Ishtola, Alizé.
You only corrected me the other day for calling you Alphinaud.
Oh yeah,
Alphinaud.
Alphinaud.
I think at the beginning of this podcast I called you Alphinaud as well. So.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
Alphinaud, it's French.
Yeah, but that is a big thing, isn't it? The pronunciation. And then the director's meant to be on top of that, and everyone. But even they have to sort of suddenly type it up and go, "Wait, what did so and so say before?" Because once someone set the bar, everyone's got to stick to that's the golden standard. Then, so whoever records that name first, everyone's got to do that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you were saying we're talking about hearing other people before the 2 years ago when you all met, you were hearing the voice actors for the first time. You said you heard a voice actor who you recognised.
Oh yeah. Yes, I was doing a scene. I can't remember which expansion it was. But it must have been, I don't know, it was a few years ago. Yeah. Doing the scene and someone had been in...
Oh, I think it'll be Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers, yeah. Oh, right. And they were playing in the actor who recorded before me, so I could kind of play off their lines. And then halfway through, I was doing the scene for 10 minutes, and I was like, hang on, is that Johnny Bailey? And the director was like, yeah, it is. I was like, oh, no. And because he's a mate, and I worked with him back in the day. And but it took a good 10 minutes for me to actually kind of clock that was him. And before that,
as well, isn't it?
I had no idea that he was a part of it.
I didn't until afterwards at the end. You're like, that's Jonathan Bailey. I was like, no.
He's Graha Tia.
Yeah.
Really,
that's cool. Beloved character.
Fan favourite.
Very beloved. Big fan favourite. Yeah.
All the Scions are.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. I mean, they are the main characters, but also every character, they're a massive fan for every character. It's not like for example, like in Baldur's Gate 3, we were interviewing Deborah Wilde and Jennifer English, talking to them, and there's like a mix on who's everyone's favourite is, but it's usually like, you know, what's his name? I was about to say Alphinaud, the white-haired guy. Astarion, yes. I knew it was an
Well
A.
done, you were on the spot there.
Yeah, sorry. I'm the one that's played it more. Terrible memory. But yeah, like he's obviously like a lot of people love. But I feel like with 14, the Scions seems very...
You come as a group, I think.
It's a cool thing, the Scion thing, though, isn't it? It's like that sort of... Here comes another dad cred. It's like sort of Magnificent Seven or Seven Samurai. It's a group. I think whenever there's a group, you can have your favourites within it, you know.
Yeah. And we're also individual as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think we kind of get equal love from...
Yeah, and also everyone can see a bit of themselves in each character, and you
Yeah.
can cherry pick a bit of that one a bit. It's like Friends. We should do Friends. We should Final Fantasy Friends. Sitcom Scions.
Yeah, even the twins, there's a big enough difference between them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the beautiful things about it is just how kind of well formed the characters are, the writing and the kind of like hearing how much Yoshi P loves the game as well.
Yeah.
I think that comes through in the writing, in the way that these characters have been crafted, and so they are all kind of really unique and individual. Like even the twins, they got totally their own thing going on.
Yeah, there's
really
no
cool.
sidetracked characters, are there?
No.
Sort of, it comes from a real place of like passion in the writing and the creation.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a thrill meeting him, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
When did you
cool.
first
At
meet Yoshi P?
FanFest.
Yeah.
In London?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Me too, and I was like...
Yeah.
Well, very nice to meet you. I was like that.
Oh no, it's really cool because we went up and I can't remember who it was, but it translated for us, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so because you could, because we'd got into a certain room, you could meet him, but they were like, oh no, we should introduce you because you're the VAs. Then and so once you introduced us as Alphinaud and Thancred, he was so up for it, wasn't he? It was so great.
Very warm.
Yeah, that was great.
Guy.
I really, that was a lovely thing. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we won't ask you too much about Dawn Trail because we don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh no!
Let's
tell them about Dawn Trail. So, would you want to start? We'll do the whole synopsis first.
Yeah.
Okay. But how far into development of each expansion do you start doing your work in terms of voice acting?
Ooh, what do you mean? So, well, it's that we don't know. We're kept very much. It's very secretive. Very secretive, as it should be. And I guess there's a safety in that because not that we'd ever leak anything. Why would we? I mean, it would just be such a crazy thing to do. Yeah. But I think for safety net's terms, you'd let us know at the last minute as well.
So you record it quite close to release, do you?
Not necessarily that, but we won't know about it until we are recording it. So I think in the past, historically, sometimes I've recorded stuff a fair bit before it's been released, and sometimes quite close to release, and sometimes then within them there's extra cherries, isn't there, that you might do a patch well after release.
Yeah. But honestly, they don't really tell us much in the booth. So the last time I went in to record, well, it must have been for a patch, but it turned out like the end of that session, I was recording lines for the Dawn Trail trailer.
Yes.
And they didn't even tell me that was the trailer.
No, I didn't. I was the
okay,
same.
like these lines are next. Just record that, and then
I totally yes, that's true for me as well because I remember there was that the knock-in, in the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember recording that, going, "Oh, great! When's the knock?" And they were like, "No, this isn't."
Yeah. Keep it quiet.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh." Yeah, not gonna be naked again, am I? It's like naked. It was naked Thancred, right? There was a naked Thancred. Was it like? I think it was almost one of my first appearances as Thancred. He pops out in the boff, and there's just a little knock-in there. Have you not?
What is
you
going
need to
on?
get involved with this.
I remember this.
This
would have definitely been ingrained in my memory.
Yeah. It's like Knock-in Thancred. I know, and also because people have given me like key rings of it and stuff as well.
That's odd.
Yeah. I haven't had a fever dream and just dreamt this, have I?
What websites have you been on?
Yeah. You've been reading
No,
the
it's
fan
true.
fiction.
It's true. He comes out and he's been in with I was looking at the lines a few months ago. Yeah, the Vath and all that, and he's been trying to. Yes, he says something about
I tried to get the Vath to fashion me an outfit, but I need something more befitting to a man of refinement. It was something like that, and I've just got nothing on.
That's hilarious.
And there's just a little nutkin just there, just because it's just jumping at the right moment.
Okay, so
I'm not wearing a nutkin.
Yeah. What is a nutkin?
Really intrigued.
It looks like that little squirrel thing, you know, in the Dawn Trail trailer.
Oh, the one that crawls
jumps
on
down
you.
and
Right, okay.
I've called it a
Little
nutkin. Is it
squirrel
called a nutkin?
I was about to
Probably.
Google nutkin. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if that's...
Who knows?
I mean, if not, there's something
That's my
very
pet
different
name
in
for
front
it.
of you
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yeah.
Thancred's nutkin.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, careful.
Good lord.
It's got it,
That wasn't what I was expecting.
it's got its own. It's got its own.
Wow,
life.
I mean, there's fan art.
What? Hang on.
There's some fan art there.
I have found the key ring.
Share that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh!
Oh no. Oh no. Hang
So
on.
that's what you're talking about.
No,
So
but
that's fan art.
That's fan
Wow.
art. That's like Boff Thancred and the Boff, isn't it? That one. No, this one's more.
You're hot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of Thancred Nutkin stuff out
There,
there.
oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I
I
can
think
see
I
why.
found it now.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it was like a memory thing. There we go. I don't remember that bit, actually. I have
Yeah.
to play it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Still Buff.
exactly
Very
that.
well.
Is that it?
That's
Yeah.
it.
So that's in, what, Heaven's Ward, is it? Is that
I
like your
think so.
first?
I'm not sure it's the first thing, but it's early.
I'm
It's
definitely
very
replaying it.
early.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. It's well worth a
We'll see.
revisit.
I bet it on my replay. I'm about to get to Heaven's Ward. So looking
okay.
forward to that on the next
Yeah.
the next try.
Yeah, so me and the Notkin, the Dawn Trail, like we've got history.
You do?
Yeah, that's an
Very
old
intimate
rekindled
history.
friendship there.
How long does it take for like when you're recording an expansion? How long generally does it take to record one? Because it's weird because to us an expansion lasts 2 years, and
course.
we're obviously not just hearing you speak it, but we're reading it as well because there's quite a lot that's like not
Yeah.
voiced. So to us, a lot of it might not. When you look at the amount of voice acting, I don't know how much there is compared to like for us that we're listening to it kind of continuously for 2 years.
Yeah, it must be. It's so different, isn't it? Like you must have done some pretty hefty sessions in the past.
I think so. How many? It's like, I don't know, over maybe 3 days altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
I don't know.
they span it out. Well, it depends,
Yeah.
depends on your availability as well. I mean, the
yeah.
beauty of voice acting in comparison to, say, film, TV, theatre is you don't necessarily have to have it blocked. If they've got enough time booked in the studio, because there's loads of us obviously doing it, sometimes you can split it up and do an hour there, 2 hours there.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if it's all you've got, I remember doing one where I think I did like 4 or 5 hours, but on a day, it's very. So you need a few breaks. Like that does become a thing because you don't want the voice to suddenly sound
That's it,
tireder in a different bit.
Because there was one, I remember one day I did like a full day, and I think it was like
It's a
I don't
lot.
know 8 hours or something, and that was long.
It's a serious amount. Yeah. And depending on the energy of what you're doing, isn't it, as well? Like if there's. We were saying earlier about sometimes you can have quite voice shredding bits in Final Fantasy and in all video games and normally the directors will leave it to the end of the session.
Yeah. I was gonna
But
say.
then you might be recording some more the next day. So, you know, when it comes to battle cries, and they always sound better when they're right on the edge of the voice.
Yeah.
I did one years ago called Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Yeah, and it was like a First World War.
Yeah.
And that was one of the the only game I've ever done actually, where they hired an old TV studio and they had us all together with all mics like this, but on stands
Yeah.
in a big circle in an old TV studio out in Twickenham, where they used to do like what they call shiny floor shows, like game shows.
Yeah.
So it was big enough. And then we all had to be like on the edge of, as if we're in battle. And definitely one person did lose their voice.
Yeah.
Like, so they didn't come back
Yeah.
one day. We were just on the edge. They had lozenges everywhere and like stuff. But we were all like, we can't sustain this for like 5 days.
It's not sustainable.
Wow, like hours of recording. Then
It's like 3
have a
days.
sleep.
It's like
That'll
3
help you out.
days worth. Yeah, and it sounds amazing because it does sound. But you do need that on the edge because if it's half, you know, that sort of half done shouting, you can hear it. It's like performed screaming.
Yeah.
In fact, have you ever heard of is it called the Wilhelm scream?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and they've used it in like 100
Yeah. It was
different
on the
movies
trailer.
and all that.
It was on the Indiana Jones trailer that
Yeah.
Xbox Showcase
was it?
showed. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's famously like one of the stormtroopers that drops off in
Yes.
Star Wars used it, and I think Tarantino then used it in one of it because it's a nod. He's in hundreds of films.
Yeah.
This one, and there's a voice recording of it of them doing the voice recording, and the director's like, "Yeah, you've been attacked by an alligator." And he's like, ah. He's like, no, it needs to sound like real pain. Like, and so he's like, just that amazing scream, and then I really recognised it. It was like a nostalgic scream. I'm like, where have I heard that?
Everywhere.
It is tough though, isn't it? Because some of the sessions, sometimes they call them like emote sessions. Or
yeah.
They can be really long, and literally you were just kind of like screaming, shouting, being like impaled, burnt alive, like you're doing just that non-stop.
Totally.
And I suppose also because like the trend for video games in the past, I don't know, 10 years maybe, has been more along the lines of realism or hyper-realism. So they want it to be more and more kind of extreme, graphic, which does take its toll on the voice.
And also because they're so massive, aren't they? They need that the variety of things. You ever do that thing where like, okay, so like, Thancred's, jumping over a rock, but it's like 1 to 10. You ever done that?
You have to do like degrees.
So actually, if you just play it back, it just sounds like weird stuff that you shouldn't be googling.
Thancred and his knocking.
I was going to say, they'll be using that for that.
Does the director ever?
I'm sure that's
Does the director ever kind of break out into laughter?
Yeah, or they just stop it, going, it's going a bit blue.
We're gonna have to up the age rating. Like this.
Because you do find yourself, don't you? Yeah, we're all grown humans. Sometimes you find yourself in a glass box, just making weird noises.
It's ridiculous, and it's those times where you find yourself emulating. What's that show with
Toast
of London?
Yeah.
And I literally had a line which was yes. And then, actually, can you just make that just a bit more urgent? Yes!
Oh, that's
and
hard.
I had to just say, yes! Like, just so many times. And we were just cackling because it was literally Toast of London.
Yeah, we can't do it.
Yeah.
We can't do it. They're the hardest, aren't they, when it's just one word or one line. And especially when you've sometimes had Tokyo in the left ear giving you, a setup that might last. It might take them like 8 minutes or 5, ages to give this massive. But all your line is... we must go immediately. So you've had all this massive setup, and they're like, got it? I think so. Okay. Then you have to channel all of it. We must go immediately. Again, we must go immediately. No? Okay. Immediately. Yeah, it's tricky.
Nice. You said you've obviously been recording this for years, a long time with all the different expansions. Have you noticed sort of changes in the characters and in the writing over that time? And is there anywhere that you would like to see the characters go in future?
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, Alfie's been on such a big journey. I mean, because he was quite, I don't know, he wasn't so well loved at the start, I would probably say. Like, I think he was quite irritating to a lot of people because he was quite officious and bit up himself maybe, but he's really gone on a journey of a kind of like coming of age story really, and finding himself and finding his kind of finding his power and stepping into this kind of authority figure, which I think was kind of unexpected for him, but he's really embraced it. And also, there's like a kind of thread of, like he has such a strong moral compass as well, which I think that's always been there, but has been revealed a lot more in recent years, which I think is lovely. So yeah, I can't wait to see where he goes with it, especially with Dawn Trail now, kind of start of a new arc. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see where he goes.
That's crazy, that, isn't it? It's a whole new... A new dawn. A new day. And the same. I've been very lucky, I think, with Thancred, because when I started out, well, you could tell by the recording sessions as well, they were really quite short, because, you can do quite a lot of funny, barbed quips in a couple of hours. That'll cover a massive expansion. But he really got to grow, especially in Shadowbringers. That was good fun.
Yeah, I'm going to pronounce it badly. Ryan.
Yeah, Reen. I think it's Reen, but that's a classic example.
And I played it as well. I remember.
I think it's Reen. which I think means like blessed or something. Someone's going to correct me on that, but it's something like that. So he really got to change in that, and he got to, suffer a bit of loss. Oh no, he's had he was an orphan to start with anyway, but and then near-death experiences and growing to, this whole Dadcred thing, which we joke about, but it's true. It's what happened to him. It was a real shift in his character where you learn to, care for someone, not just sort of chasing, women round hostelries and taverns of old. He actually grew, and so his language grew with it, and and so did his, and I think so did his relationships with the other scions and what it meant, and it's been a great arc to play, because now he's a colourful character. He has depth, and he has different tones and levels, and there's pathos in him. There's glass half empty stuff, and it's really fun to play. He's a fun character to play, definitely, and he still gets a good quip and bit of sarcasm.
Yeah, it's very versatile.
To boot. Yeah.
So Yoshi P described Dawntrail as the very best summer vacation. What would your very best summer vacation be?
Ooh. That's good, isn't it? Where should we go? Where should we go?
The Caribbean.
Where should we go?
Yeah, I mean, Tyrol looks very cool, doesn't it? I'd love to go on holiday.
Tyrol looks cool.
That's very cool.
I like a bit of adventure. I get quite bored on relaxing holidays. I get sort of a bit twitchy. I quite like. I like to have something to do, and to learn along the way would be great.
Sounds like you.
Like doing I
can't deal with
I can
just
sit and
sitting
relax
doing
for a
nothing.
bit, and then I'll just annoy who I'm with eventually, and I'll go,
that's
God,
solid.
why don't you just go and learn how to scuba dive or something? Just go.
Yeah, we went to Cape Verde for a week, and I think it was cool for like a couple of days. Well, it was nice, but what can I do?
Twitchy.
I can't sit on the beach forever.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a beach person, but I was watching a vlog of a person on YouTube who kind of reviews books, and he went away to this kind of cabin in the woods and just took a load of isolation. Books. And I think that's probably my ideal getaway.
So you want to do isolation?
Yeah, I do like a bit of camping.
I'm not a summer sun person. No. I'm a sit inside in the cold vampire with like a glass of wine and a fire.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, log fire. What's that? Yeah, what is it? Huggy or whatever they call it? Norwegian.
Oh yeah.
It's like getting
Have you seen the Frozen musical?
No, it's meant to be brilliant though.
It has no right. I've said this many times. It's no right being as like fantastic as it is. But there's a whole bit on. Is it closing?
Yeah.
It's closing.
Go and see if you can. It's brilliant.
The close doesn't bother me anyway.
Hey.
That's bad.
Nice,
cut that.
You're a machine. This is amazing.
Yeah. I quite like the hot and cold though. Yeah, we have I've got a camper van, so we do a bit of that.
VW one.
Camper than.
Oh my god! They just keep coming.
What about
this is
the camper
amazing.
van with all the scions in there on a road trip?
Camping. Can you imagine camping with the scions who you delegate to do certain things and not allowed to?
Oh god,
who'd not be allowed to make the fire and stuff like that? There's a whole.
Who's
That's
driving?
a whole. Huh?
Who's driving?
Oh god, who's driving?
Well,
I can't drive. He's had too much to drink.
Oh, does he like a drink?
Thancred. Yeah, it's sort of the debate, isn't there, where he likes to drink, but can he handle his drink? That's the... Does he know?
Northerner.
Yeah, I think he's all right. Yeah, he's, fan drinks. Yeah, he's in there.
So we've got a few questions around your career more generally. Did you always want to work in video game voice acting, or, where did you get your start in that?
Mine was from a director, actually, who I worked with in the theatre. It was doing Shakespeare. I did Royal Shakespeare Company for a couple of years, and one of those directors introduced me to a friend of theirs who's a director, Kate Saxon, actually, she's called. She's done a lot of video games, very successful in that world and beyond. And I went in the first game I did an audition for, and I got it. It was the part of a scientist or professor in Tomb Raider, but they never used it. So I got the part and never used it, but actually another part just immediately came on, so I didn't think anything of it. I thought, this is the world of... And then I think it was Dragon Age that I got off the back of that. It's like a young king, someone, Kalen. King Kalen?
That is a game to be in.
Yeah, and then you sort of on a didn't you find, I don't know what your story was, but then you're on that classic thing which you do with acting a lot, where you're on a learning curve as you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to pretend that you're like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. We've done a bit of drama school of microphone technique and radio and stuff, but that's very different to video game VA. Very different.
Yeah. But it's a very similar story actually, because I worked with a director, Damien Goodwin, when I was at drama school, and then he was casting a game called The Last Story, a Nintendo game. So I got that, and which was recorded at Side. And then and off the back of that, got an audition for this. But it's so I didn't set out to become a voice actor, but I think with British actors anyway, we kind of like jack of all trades, aren't we? We like to do everything, so we do a lot of stage. I think a lot of us kind of start in the theatre, really.
It's amazing how many of the Scions came from the stage. But I suppose that's a very British thing as well. But it's amazing, like, having now met all the Scions pretty much, nearly everyone at least has had a grounding in stage at some point. And the Shakespeare stuff and all that. But I do think it lends itself to Final Fantasy because it is that type of language.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can go full Urianger as well.
Yeah, I know.
When
you talk about pronouncing things.
And Tim has done the same, yeah. Me and Tim have done the same show. We both did The Woman in Black.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Playing the same part.
Oh, wow.
In different iterations of it,
Right.
We did that at West End, but that's very Shakespearean.
Yeah, and because we do have such a tradition of Shakespeare over here as well, and we study that a lot at drama school, and a lot of the script is written in that kind of oldie worldy style, isn't it? So I think because
really
I was chatting to Koji Fox about it as well, and he reckons that's why British actors work so well with this script particularly,
and it's that fantasy realm in general, like Final Fantasy and other Lord of the Rings style fantasy as well. It does lend itself to that, not being afraid of the language and enjoying language rather than backing away from it, because you can sometimes, especially like what you were saying about, it can be very tempting to make things too modern.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
linguistically, whereas Final Fantasy has a sort of heft to it and weight where at one end you've got your Urianger times of yelled and all that, but all the way down, all the way down to even the little tiny soldiers and market traders that we've kept up. There is a sort of there's a ball that has to be kept up vocally in Final Fantasy. I think that makes it slightly different.
There are a bunch of words I've had to Google.
No
idea what this is, and then this is a very specific word, but which is perfect for this context.
And I suppose the way that it's written as well, like the sentences can be quite long, and so there are like lots of kind of sub clauses as well within. So it really helps having that training, because in Shakespeare you have to kind of have these like very long sentences with multiple thoughts, and you have to be able to kind of like find a way to kind of navigate through that whole sentence in a coherent way. Which is good training for
finding all your springboards and iambic pentameters and all that is all brilliant. And also I think the more you do of that, that's a real muscle to be trained. And I've done some workshops in the past with drama students and American students who've come over to the UK for that sort of training, where you do get it obviously in the US as well. There's incredible drama schools there, but there's always this tradition of we should be doing Shakespeare in the UK. There's this real tradition of, and it is a muscle that you can work out. And I think the more you do it, the more it helps with things like having to sight read things and getting an idea of how sentences work and what you should be hitting and not over stressing. And it's a fascinating sort of realm, all that. Realm. There it is.
Now we have a message. I had a question from the community. Dan Law has a question for Colin, and I know that also another member of the community, Chaddy, was very excited that we were meeting you, Colin, because they're both big fans of Doctor Who.
Oh,
and
yes.
So the first question from Colin was, how was it working on Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi?
Amazing. Yeah, that is one of my favourite jobs. That it was incredible, and most of my scenes were with Peter Capaldi. who is the loveliest man.
Yes.
And I was a bit nervous meeting him because...
Are you in the thick of it?
Well, yeah, the thick of it. I mean, we were
terrified.
Oh, man, it's amazing.
Yeah, which is crazy because, of course, he's an amazing actor. So why would he be anything like that character? But you know, he was so incredibly supportive, and he kind of took me under his wing, and so like while we were filming, he would kind of be giving me like acting tips, basically, kind of like how to kind of work the camera and all these kind of tricks of the trade, which he didn't have to do.
He's a proper legend. Yeah, he's so lovely.
Have you worked with him as well?
Oh, I just did a few days not long ago on a thing called Criminal Record. It's
out
on Apple TV.
Yes, yeah.
I'm doing a lot of furrow brow phone acting on it. But he was so lovely, Peter Capaldi. Like he didn't have to, but I did these scenes with him, but he didn't have to, and he spent so much time coming over, having a proper chat, you know, giving up all his time, and not in a I feel like I should be doing it way. It just felt like a real genuine, you know, and also he's is he from Glasgow originally? And, you know, he's come from a background which is not necessarily going to fall into acting. And I think he's all for that, sort of championing that, because we need it in the industry. You know, we need that. Definitely.
And that shows he was such, he's such a hard-working actor as well. So, and I think with Doctor Who, he really understood the responsibility that came with playing that character. So each day on set, he would come with a massive folder with all of the episodes of the season, which he would kind of reference.
Like a Bible.
Yeah, it would exactly like that. And his script was covered in like notes with different colours. I mean, he's such a hard working.
eBay that.
Oh, that'd be worth.
We were talking about communities, like close communities, and like really, not obsessive, but like really strong and passionate communities. I mean, the Doctor Who community.
And also it's for so long. I mean, that is properly venerated. It's like from the 60s. It's one of the real survivors of... In fact, they're a real stage door certainty. Whenever I've been in plays with people that have been in Doctor Who, even if they've been in it for a second, there will be people at stage doors of theatre, if they know you're in a show. Yeah, they're extremely supportive. It's a real tight-knit community, that one. It's incredibly loyal.
I went to see a friend in Macbeth at the Donmar a few weeks ago, and then I met her after at stage door after, and then I wasn't even in it, but someone at stage door asked for my autograph for Doctor Who. No, it's a thing, and also it's a badge for life. If you've done it, Doctor Who, it's just there forever. Yeah, it doesn't fade. It never fades. That's in the
Doctor Who crew.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's and that job it came after 9 months of not working. So, and to get that after a period of unemployment, because
that's good.
It was like winning the lottery. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's a real one to tick off, though. Doctor Who, I think that's a big because there's not many survived like that. It's incredible. And that sci-fi world, and that, you know, there's something about that world which is slightly special, you know.
It is. And I think it's what Russell T Davies is doing at the moment with it, I think, is incredible. The specials that he did, the Christmas special.
You're a fan as well, still up to this day?
Yeah, I mean, being honest, I didn't watch the kind of Chibnall era. But I love Russell T Davies, and
amazing.
So I'm excited to see where that goes. Yeah, for sure, because I think it does really well with kind of reinventing itself, but still keeping kind of true to its roots as well.
It's got the money behind it now, hasn't it? Is it
Disney?
Disney.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird with visual effects that are...
I know, I wonder what that'll be, cause I'm going to miss it. I want some of it to feel a bit cling filmy.
Dan had another question for you, Peter, and you already mentioned Dragon Age, but that's one of his favourite games, so he was wondering what it was like working on Dragon Age, if you have any really good memories.
Wow,
your first, you say?
It's going back, I think that was one of my first, definitely. I really liked it. That was my first... and also, it was the first one that I did really RP, received in a posh accent.
So that's a bit like Final Fantasy-esque, kind of medieval, very
And
proper.
I think I'm sure, because it was all... Because Side was extreme, like they created almost like a rep company there for a time. I did so many games back to back, and they almost like, the VAs got more and more, but it felt like you were in a company because you'd keep seeing the same people in, which is a really lovely thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Dragon Age, King Kalen, would have helped getting me at least in the pool of, we've got Thancred. He definitely feels like a young nephew to Thancred or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebellious.
But he was from what I remember, it really was a while ago. It must be 12, 13 years ago, maybe more.
Something like that,
yeah. It was a fun part. He was. I remember them having the same problem with, there was loads of weird sounding monsters and stuff in that we just constantly. I remember even writing them on. You sometimes have a lectern.
Okay, yeah.
Because nowadays less so, isn't it? Nowadays it seems to be all digital.
Yeah.
But back in the day, when I first started Dragon Age, you didn't always have a screen. It was proper pencil and paper stuff. But I quite like that because you could annotate it with your name. So now I tend to take a little notebook in and have it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because sometimes there's ones, and if they keep coming up, you can't write it on the board, on the digital board.
Yeah.
So you have it here. You have your little.
Yeah.
And once you've written it down, there's something about the fact that you don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the safety net. It's gone in. Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't really answer that question. It was great fun. It was really great fun. I do remember King Kalen being really good fun, playing like a young upstarty. Yes, he was sort of full of himself, wasn't he, a bit? It's a shame I think he didn't make it though, did he? Because they did a Dragon Age 2, I think.
And then
maybe
the third
even
one,
more.
Inquisition.
Yeah.
And there's another one that's out, I think, either end of this year or next year.
So, they were really popular. They were great fun, but also, when you do a character that very much dies, that's always a thing, isn't it? Have you ever done that? Do you think, like, because it's quite good fun normally, because characters that die normally have quite a good story arc as well.
Well, exactly.
It's quite completist, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there is an element of, that's it.
Yes, like whenever I play new expansion from 14, I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like there's so much love for those characters. I don't like. It would be really cruel for them to try.
God,
I know.
Obviously, touch wood.
Anything's possible. Everyone can be brought back.
Yes,
that's what I'm telling myself.
I'm a big fan of a game called Destiny 2, and they killed someone off. And it was, everybody was very upset. And now that they've kind of hinted that, it's coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah.
Good, okay, well,
yeah.
You know what people want.
Yeah. I know, it does feel like everyone's got at the end of Endwalker, I loved all that, when they have that scene around the table, and they all sort of split.
Sorry. So 14 I played it since Heaven's Ward, but there's only been probably about a month where I've actually got to the end of the main story quest because I'm like, I just don't want to finish it. I'd rather go and do other stuff. Keep it. There's always content there for me to go.
Keep
and play.
It alive. It's like good.
Then I get spoiled. Then I go to FanFest and I'm I'm covering my face. I know. My eyes. And
I know, because there comes a point. That's another thing with being in really long-running franchise like this is there comes a point where what is the crowd? People are still now starting to play the game. And hello.
Well,
Segue. And it's that thing of you can't possibly not say anything about what's gone on before. There comes a point where it's almost spoiler-proof, isn't it? It's
almost like once it takes so long now to get from the start to the end.
Yeah.
Tell them the end of Endwalker.
But they'll have forgotten by the
time you've forgotten everything.
But you're so invested in it, and the people I've had communications with, and when you meet. Like we said earlier, we're going over that again, but it means so much to people, and their lives change within it because they're spending years of their life whilst playing the game, meeting other people, they're growing with it and getting through trauma or elation or I love all that. It's a real privilege because in our lifetimes, I don't think you get many opportunities to be in something as long running. When else? No. Unless you're in like a soap opera, or a massive, Mission Impossible style franchise that goes on for years.
Yeah.
But even within those, they're in arrested development almost those characters because you want to see the same action hero. Whereas in Final Fantasy, it's grown. It's like it's allowed it to age and grow, and it's brilliant.
It's a bit like in a soap opera kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, it has that feel to it. Yeah, I remember Tim Watson, Uriange, sort of mentioning that at, I think at a CooperCon once, and I was like, this is exactly feels like that sometimes. It has those elements of cliffhanger, and it allows characters to disappear for a while.
Yes.
And then come back, and people, sometimes the volume's just turned up on a character for a while, and it ebbs and flows, and sometimes we're all brought together, sometimes we're all splinter groups, and it's great. I mean, it's a real fabric, tapestry.
It is true.
So, Colin, you are going to start playing on Twitch soon.
Yes.
Yeah. What made you decide to start that?
Well, I mean, the pressure really from...
We're calling him into it.
I mean, because people have been... Well, people assume that I've played the game, which I haven't, in case you're wondering. And it's got to the point now where I would kind of like to know exactly what's going on in the game. And especially like you're saying, because because so many scenes aren't voiced. So we obviously only record the ones that we voice. Story-wise, I don't really have much of a clue in the kind of like wider kind of plot what is going on. So I would like to know. Also, I think it'd be fun.
It's a great game.
So
can recommend it.
It's a good game. Good game.
So I'm going to start. So I've actually had a little practice already.
Do you know what job you're going to pick?
Exclusive.
So I'm at the moment I'm an archer.
That's where I started as an archer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's great because you get to stand at the back with an arrow and everyone else leaves you alone.
You can...
Solitary archer.
Well, you're like away from the enemy. You don't need to be near it. Especially if you're in a dungeon, you can just stand at the back and fire arrows.
That's kind of my style, But I'm going to start with creating a new character when I start to stream, and then
that's
from the very beginning,
though, to be able to watch you create your.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Will it be based on you as opposed to Alfie?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Probably different to Alfie.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Is it Alfie playing Alfie?
It'd be very cool though. You coming into contact with Alphinaud.
Yeah. But it's quite cool because like in the the very first instance when you start the game, you see the twins, which is quite cool. So yeah, I'm excited.
Do you have a date when you're hoping to start it?
I don't know. So, I have an amazing group of mods, of which Ben is one.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for accepting. And so I have an amazing artist creating some assets. And then their name is, I mean, it's all on Twitter, isn't it? So Zealous, CELES. How would you say that? Zealous Cells?
CELES.
Zealous. And they're creating some beautiful artwork assets for my stream. So yeah.
I think we need the big thing. We need to know, what is your channel name?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So let's go and get all the followers. I'll put it in the bio or the description of the podcast. But
so on Twitch, I am Alphinaud. That is my Twitch name.
It's good. It's a good one, yeah.
There
we go.
It makes sense.
So listen,
I wonder what yours would be.
So I don't know.
Setting you up.
Yeah. Fan time. So listen, when you get up and running, if there's like a little Thancred bit, can I come and?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Would you play yourself, as in like kind of starting?
I don't know, because it depends where you are, doesn't it, and whether it's playable or not. But it'd be quite funny to observe as well and see what. Yeah.
That'd be great because I know Ben's done that, hasn't he? He's
Yeah.
Other
You can just go in and
streams.
Yeah. That seems like a cool thing. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Have you ever been tempted to Twitch?
Well, I'd love to. I don't feel like I'd be able to give enough time over to do it as well. It's like a massive undertaking, isn't it? The whole and the setting up of it all as well.
Yeah.
And just my sort of current home life just wouldn't agree. But I'm never say never.
Yeah.
Because I'd definitely fancy it. Yeah. Little cocktail bar next to me while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
4 hours in, you're like,
Yeah.
How many monitors are
Just getting into character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Because did your kid have any interest?
No, they're too young. They're too youngsters, I think. But they've got massive interest.
Yeah.
We took them to FanFest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were having a great chat What was the name again?
Baxter.
Yeah, we were chatting with Baxter while you were getting photos with the telling us all about
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, they know their stuff because they're sort of, and they soak up the atmosphere of those places, and like CooperCon and places where, like you were saying earlier, where it's just about Final Fantasy. So actually, we walk around in the day because our normal lives. Well, I speak for myself. Not sort of rock star Colin as well, but you know, I suppose you're in shows sometimes where the light might be a bit brighter on you for a bit, but compared to like walking around those events where you feel like Dadcred reference, like Bruce Springsteen for the day, and then you walk out and just get on the tube and you're like, oh right, because it is incredible because you have these such intense and meaningful chats with the people you meet, or you have just like out and out fun about people are just so excited, and it's
the coolest dad when
it's really infectious. Yeah, it's really infectious as an atmosphere, and it really sort of bonds your relationship with the game. It sort of makes you feel like you are part of it, like a part of something that is special,
It is, and actually something else that I'm amazed by is, which is a testament to how kind of inclusive and accepting and just lovely the community is how many like super anxious people that you meet at these conventions, people who are neurodiverse as well, who struggle in social situations, but because they know that they will be supported in this atmosphere, they put themselves out there, and I just find that I think that's so impressive. That
I also think it's a testament to you both, like for being really kind of just welcoming, and like whenever anybody's coming up to you, just being.
I just don't know why you wouldn't be. Like I just don't know why.
It's such a privilege. Isn't it?
And you do feel that, don't you? You feel like I feel like I want to sort of, grab it with both hands while I can, because when else are you going to get this? It's so fulfilling. To meet people, and like you say, you meet people. I love all that sort of cosplay, and some people who are very introverted suddenly become extrovert for the day. Because it's safety within this. It's like anything goes. It's like going to a crazy cabaret when you go into those places. Sometimes it's so, but it feels safe. It feels like there's, we
said that like in London Fan Fest. We're just like there's so much positivity there, and like I love the game. I love 14, but when I was there. Just getting surrounded by it, like the best feeling ever. If you ever get the chance to go to a fan fest.
Oh, absolutely. Any of those, they're great because it's just a real. It does feel like you sort of just dive into a place and then just suddenly come out the other side. It is, it's amazing.
Have you ever been spotted by a Final Fantasy fan outside of a convention like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
a
few times. Yeah, at the cinema. I was. Going to watch film.
Sorry about that, man.
I was like, and the person I was buying my popcorn from. Says, are you in Final Fantasy? So
it goes deep. I remember doing filming a thing out in Romania, and another actor, but it was a few weeks in, and we were just having a drink in a bar with some of the cast, and they just took a minute to come over, and I just wanted to have a little, just to say that. Bit of a fan of, and then you realise that their secret Final Fantasy. That's because especially with 14, because
you spend so much time on that.
They've spent so much time on it, and I know all the Final Fantasies are venerated in their own way, but it seems like one where people have grown with it, and they have this secret little thing of like, and that actually happened quite a while ago, and that was one of the first little inks in the water where I was like, oh right. What? Because I thought this was an actor that I was like, I should be saying it to you. Wow. And you're like, oh, it's a thing. It's a real, proper big thing. It's
amazing.
We've got a couple more questions from the community. We'll do them quick fire.
Because we've got a game coming up.
Okay. So Nicholas Vans asks, who do you think your characters will get along with the best? With each other?
What, within the game? Oh, yes.
Well, Alfie's best mate is Estinian, isn't he? I think that they have definitely got a thing going on.
Yeah.
They've definitely got a thing going
on. This is now canon. Actually, no, too young.
I mean, it's kind of like heavily suggested, isn't it? Well, it's open to interpretation, but they definitely have a bond.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Thancred and historically, I think Thancred and Ishtola is a thing, but also he's been thrown like this whole love-hate, gentle ribbing with Urianger has become now bit of a bro road movie, hasn't it? As they go off on their travels together.
Speaking of like characters developing, I think Urianger, he has made such a change, especially with Shadowbringers.
Yeah,
became a little bit more relatable.
Yeah, totally.
And
also, he's that I love all that. Becoming aware of the fact that he is sort of rib tickled every so often, and I do like it. Yeah, it's good fun. Those scenes are really good fun.
Yeah,
to do.
Wally in the Alley, which is a great name.
On
a similar level, Peter wanted to know who Thancred would pick as a drinking buddy.
I mean, he's not fussy.
As long as there's drink.
Who's still awake? Whoever has the keys to the bar.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And Colin, what was your favourite scene to voice as Alfie?
Favourite scene to? Oh, I mean, there's so many. I mean, overall, I loved doing Endwalker. I think that was some of like the juiciest, like really emotional stuff. But then also, I think was it Stormblood Shadowbringers, the one with what's that kind of Jabba the Hutt type character?
That is Shadowbringers.
Yeah, I loved all that.
Yeah. That was like one of my favourite parts of the
Same.
entire. It's meant to be like Moscow,
cool.
wasn't it? It's trying kind of. What's the name of the fancy place in Red Square? And
The Kremlin.
The Kremlin. Yeah, like the big. Kind of where the oligarch is like an oligarch.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah. But also, I loved the kind of like bantery stuff between the twins as well. Like, whenever there's kind of like either being taken the mick out of or taking the mick out of Alizé. I love all that kind of stuff. That's fun
your
as well.
to and fro is really good.
Yeah,
with that, it's fun stuff.
When you and Beth and the voice actor from Alizé, when you meet up, is it like brother and sister rib tickling?
I mean,
each other.
Do you know what? I mean, no, not really. but we're actually very similar. That's the thing, which is what we've discovered, because we both like very introverted. And that's why I'm so glad that I've got Beth to kind of like navigate this whole thing with conventions, because we often kind of make appearances together.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing that sort of got each other's.
It's really lovely
each other's back
Beth
all the time. Yeah,
to kind of like consult, and so we're always like firing off voice notes to each other, kind of.
Yeah. These two are incredibly supportive of each other, but also to all the other scions in real life.
Yeah,
we are all real scions.
Yeah,
but you are, both of you, like have really helped us. I mean, I speak for myself, but I know some of the others helped us navigate our way through the social media side of things, and it was very much my first CooperCon. That was my first big event. You and Beth were there, and it was I don't know what it would have been like if you hadn't been, really, because you sort of you have the inside tract and try this, do that. It's because it is bewildering at first when you first go in.
Yeah, we went to the last one. And it's like, you're there. Everybody's there.
Oh, man, yeah. No, we really need... That's that whole thing we were saying earlier about... There is a true Scion group outside of the game now. Like, there's an IRL Scion group now, which is great, isn't
lovely.
It? Love it.
True Scions.
The true Scions,
Made a long way.
Lots of people are looking forward to some dad cred, of course.
So
we've got some dad jokes for you.
Great. Let's have them.
The first is my dad's favourite joke.
But you got to... What's the quiz? Because you've got to see
if I know
as a true dad, do you know the
punchline?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's like writing Christmas
surely.
crackers. Yeah, it's like writing Christmas crackers.
This is my dad's favourite.
The pressure.
Where does a king keep his armies?
On the end of his wristies?
Up his sleeveys.
Oh, close. It's close, wasn't it?
It's a good guess.
If I say that to my dad, he will collapse crying with laughter, like every time.
Yeah. And I mean, this is just
this
one
was yours.
I like because old. What did I say to the person who stole my Microsoft Office?
Oh, that'll be some computery thing that I don't know. What is it? Like Dell, something Dell. No, what is it?
I'll find you and I will kill you. You have my word.
Oh, you have my word. Nice.
You can use that one.
You have my word. Document. Yeah.
And then I found a good Final Fantasy one on Reddit.
Oh, well done.
Thank you to that person who wrote this. Why are Pictomancers terrible at PvP?
I'm never going to get that. What?
It ends in a draw.
Oh,
the painting,
lovely stuff. It ends in a draw.
The artist ones.
Yeah, well done them.
Yeah,
It's very good.
Yeah, they have a Dadcred seal of approval.
do you have a favourite dad joke? And
No.
It's quite hard to come out with right now.
No favourites. No, I like it when they just come though, when they just sort of appear.
I mean, to be honest,
and I love the since going on it's a lot of fun on social media with Thancred, because there's a whole load of people who are. Some people are like, it's all going to get a bit dad joke, and some people are like, more dad jokes. Yeah. But I love all that. So he started having little handles of Dadcred or the Ponder Study, I quite like,
nice.
or the Fan with the Golden Pond. So many levels.
Nice.
Yeah.
You so, a dad joke, Colin? Or?
I mean, I love a dad joke. Yeah.
Yeah, they have their place, don't they?
Of
course
totally.
They do. Yeah, and they're good diffusers. They're good because you can have a groan. Everyone likes a groan.
Everybody likes
yeah. You can laugh at it, or you can have more. Or you can have like a death rattle at it. It's up to you. Doesn't matter. It works both ways.
Wilhelm groan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So to finish up, we've put together a little quiz for you. Now, of course, one of Thancred's favourite or most well-known lines is "This is Thancred."
And this is Thancred, yeah.
So we've put together a quiz, which are a series of voice lines that one of you has said. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the answer to each of these will either be "This is Thancred" or "This is Alphinaud."
This is
right. So you just need to guess whose line is this.
Do they have to say it in their voices?
Well, if you want to.
Is there any other way?
Okay. Right, I'll read out the first one for you. If this journey has taught me anything, it is the importance and difficulty of holding to one's convictions in the face of failure.
This is
Alphinaud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I recognised that.
That's a very Alphinaud line.
Yeah, very Alphinaud.
Just a second, because I want to do the third.
Okay. I shall express my gratitude through action instead. No matter where you decide to go, I will be there, guarding your back.
This is Thancred.
That is Thancred.
I'll guard your back. While I just grab this drink. Where have you gone? Oh, damn.
So the third one we've got, "'Tis the quickest way, and you may rest assured I've been practicing."
Oh!
Yeah.
No! Why'd you have to bring that one up? This is Alphinaud.
Yes.
That is cruel.
Is that history? Is that
I mean, that's... Okay, so
you
that's...
showed me the clip of it yesterday. I was like, I don't remember this bit.
That is an example of not having seen like the footage. I had no idea what that was. They just said, okay, you just got to jump off a ledge. And that's what I came up with.
Actually, that's proper VA stuff, isn't it? Where you do a line and then you see it a year later and you're like,
I'm like, why did I do that? I mean, if only but now it's become this thing, but I'm owning it.
Yeah,
it's there
that's
now.
like my turn. My turn. I did a really loud my turn. I thought that's what you were all doing.
My turn.
Yeah.
I felt we define our worth, not the circumstances of our creation.
This is Alphinaud.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. I like
that's
that.
banging. That's a good
That's
line.
my favourite line.
That's a proper put on the. That's a tagline, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we were researching it, I was like, okay, I wonder if they're going to be jokey ones. But like nearly every kind of thread or website we were finding, it was just like really nice quotes. Like,
people like those heartfelt lines.
Oh, the writing is fantastic. Some of the ones are they're like posterable, you know, those comments people have on their walls. Yeah.
I mean, then there's
next
some
one.
that aren't.
I will have you know that I can hold my breath for 10 minutes.
This is Thancred. This is Thancred. This is Thancred.
What's the context to that?
It was when I did a very intense swimming course.
Because that could feasibly be Alphinaud's line as well. Because there's the whole kind of swimming thing with Alphinaud.
That is true.
Yeah, I do remember that though. I do remember weirdly.
I wondered whether you'd remember any.
Well, some you do, and some are totally gone. Some disappear entirely, but weird ones stick in.
This next one. Oh dear, we seem to be missing a corpse.
This is Thancred.
This is Thancred.
Yeah, that's a great line.
He's been missing a corpse. That's good. I'm going to use that one in a cameo. That's really good.
I like this one a lot. What you need is a mirror, not a painting. It will capture the horror I see before me far better than I ever could.
This is Alphinaud. Yeah.
That's a cracking line.
That's the one I was talking about, wasn't
Yeah.
it? That scene, love that. Yeah.
He's such a great villain, that character.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was enjoying this podcast and listening along. I have fought tooth and nail for the people I hold dear, done everything in my power to save them, and I have failed.
Learn to live with it. I have. That's the end of that.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
well
It
done.
is.
Where'd you get that?
I cut that bit off. But
How'd you do that?
That's just one that's come up and I've used it.
Oh, do people request that for like cameos and things?
Yeah, and also it's quite a handy one because you can morph it into more people's. You can use it for a birthday. You know, I have spent hours on this cake. I have fought tooth and nail. The birthdays, I believe. Yeah, all those. But that's a great one because I love the learn to live with it. Learn to live with it. I have.
That is a life lesson.
Right, next one. Oh, come along. Tataru was overreacting. How much could a single katana possibly cost?
I'm stumped with that one. I think that's you.
I think this is Alphinaud.
That is
Yeah.
There's the whole thing about having to buy the katana in Stormblood and how much it costs, and they spend all the savings on it.
Oh, I don't. Okay, well, I look forward to that.
You get
bit.
You're going to get to all these. You're going to get to all these.
And then the final one. This is Thancred.
Ooh, tricky. Hang on.
It's a tricky one.
Is that either of us? Or is that
I mean,
is that
Is that Alphinaud prank calling?
Green?
my turn?
My turn.
This is Thancred. Who knew? I mean, why did that?
Yeah.
That's blown
Shocking,
up. That's
yeah.
gone. Yeah. I've got T-shirts with that on.
Did
now.
you expect that to blow up?
Of course. What?
I didn't even get the reference for ages, and I mean, I've obviously played and you hear it multiple times, but yeah.
So you actually say that as Thancred?
I do.
in
It's
the
like
game?
it's in a bit. I think it's called like a frosty reception. It's like in a snow bit, and you try and do this task, and every so often you have to check in with Thancred on his pearl. On the pearl. So you're like checking in on comms
Link pearl,
almost.
yeah.
Oh,
Link
right.
pearl. So it's like. This is Thancred.
Brilliant.
And it just happens a lot.
Yeah.
And so it became this meme and then just sort of exploded from there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, now you've
I
said
think
this
you
is
did pretty
Alphinaud so many times, maybe that will explode as well.
Well, yeah, who knows?
Hopefully that was a nice refresher for you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I like those. That's a good game.
Oh, well.
That's a good game. We should get in touch with like Mattel or someone.
Board game coming soon.
Yeah. This is ...
But yeah, well, honestly, thank you so much for joining us here.
Oh, it's been a
And
treat. It's
been a
treat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
It's been great, and it was great meeting you at FanFest and just hanging out. And,
Hey, listen. Let's hope for many more.
Yeah, I know.
absolutely.
I could chat for ages.
Yeah.
Well,
Where can people follow you on social media?
So yes, on X, Twitter, I'm at Bramhill, and you come on in. You're welcome.
That was a good one. You got that. That was a great. Did you say you got that a while ago?
A friend set me up with that 14 years ago.
Wow.
It wasn't planned that way, and since meeting Colin and Beth and doing a couple of things, people were like, "Well, you should go on social media," and then we did that. This is Thancred as the first.
Iconic
First tweet. And then people did latch on to like, hang on, you've been on here for 14 years. That's your first tweet. Ledge.
Wow. You had to wait that long to get the
and then
perfect
Instagram I've recently gone on to, which is fun as well, but I'm very new to that. I think that's Bramhill Peter or something. And Cameo, obviously, as well. That's great fun. It's been a lot of fun, that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on Cameo. I'm on X, at Colin Ryan on X, and Instagram at Colin_Ryan.
Excellent.
And is that going to be and your thing is, what's that? What did you
Oh,
say
and
that was going
Twitch
to be?
is I am Alphinaud.
I am Alphinaud. Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Can't wait. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, and so you don't have a date yet?
No date yet, but I will keep you posted on the socials. Yeah, you'll know. Yeah.
When's our next cooking show?
Hey, that's a good point.
What are we making next? Put that out there.
Roasted chocobo.
Roasted chocobo. Roasted chocobo, everyone. It's for Thanksgiving.
Are they vegan? Chocofo?
Yeah.
Chocofo.
Yeah, chocofo.
Genius.
For thanksgiving.
Yeah,
of course.
Of
course.
Okay, that is
Nice.
the
Got to
thing.
get that in.
Definitely a thing.
But yeah, thank you so much, Ed. Where can we find you?
You can find me at ed_nights.
Pretty much everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm Biggest Bennis, pretty much everywhere except for Twitter. I'm with a 1 at the end. But yeah, if you want to go and listen to, I know I've moaned about this far too often.
Every time.
Biggest Bennis hasn't tweeted anything in about 15 years. One day. One day I'll get it.
One day.
But yeah, go to swappingjoysticks.com if you want to go and check out all of our previous podcasts, including videos. We've had interviews with Ben Starr right in this very, very room in the studio. Also, we've chatted to...
I can feel him. I can still feel him in here.
The smell.
Yeah, the essence of Ben is still
amazing.
here.
Smells amazing. And also Jennifer English and Deborah Wild, who are... Shadowheart, I did the right way around. Shadowheart and Lae'zel from Baldur's Gate 3 as well. That is on there. In fact, we'll put it around the sides. I'll do the YouTube thing.
Yeah,
and we'll have more in future as well.
We will indeed. Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, all of you, thank you so much for joining.
Pleasure.
Thank
you so much.
We're going for a drink now.
Yeah, let's have a drink.
We?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
'Tis Saturday. We must go. We must leave.
Well, on that note,
Thank you. See you later.
thanks for watching.
Bye.
See you.